frightening children's film I've ever seen in my life.
I got chills myself, I'm going to admit it.
I'm going to do it again. Teri Hatcher's here, everyone. Teri Hatcher.
Thank you for having me.
So lovely to have you on the show, Teri. And, I mean, it's 15 years since the film first came out. It's now been reimagined and it's going to be back in theatres, 3D. Everyone's got the glasses on, having a lovely time. Are you excited for it to come back?
Oh, I'm really excited and honored, too. You know, this was Laika's first stop-motion animated film, and to see that it has resonated for such a long time, that it's still relevant, I think it's because it's just this classic fairy tale of, you know, you want something that you don't have, you seek the thing that you think is going to be better, and then you find out in the end that it's not. And I think everyone can relate to that. But I also just think, as we were discussing before, the artistry of it,
it's incredible.
Just the incredible masters that physicalize like sculpture, you know, that's what this work is, that takes years and years to put a film like this together. And to see that there's a space for people to honor it again, and also for new generations of people, families, to find it in theatres. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know what stop motion is, it's a bit like we've got a Wallace and Gromit version, and they spend absolutely weeks just to get 1 second. Did you ever go behind the scenes to their because they edit out a whole scene, don't they? But they've really got to move one tiny little section.
It's insane. Yes, I think it's 24 movements a second. I mean, that's, if you imagine having 24 frames, you have to shoot 24 different frames to get a second. I think, if I have that right. But it took about, my recording of the voice was probably over 3 years, and about a year into it, that was just my recording. I mean, I think the whole movie is maybe 7 or more. But I got to go up with my daughter, who was 9 at the time, to the studios in Portland, Oregon. And that was the first time I got to walk through the sets. And I mean, big stages like this with big cameras, and then tiny little Coraline dolls, you know, moving into houses that are all, you know, built, and somebody knitting tiny little sweaters for the little models to wear. I mean, it's an insane amount of work, an insane amount of artistry and mastery that these craftsmen have to be able to put something like this together.
And because you know the time, the energy, the patience, you've just got so much respect for this film.
You can sense that. Really, I really do. When I saw it again for the first time in many years a few months ago, and when I looked at it, I thought, this is just, it is like a piece of art, you know, like it should just be hanging on a wall in a museum, and it's just so great that you can go to a theatre and be a part of it.
Well, it's coming back. As you said, it's been reimagined in 3D. I think it's out on the 15th of August. I think it's going into theatres over here. It's a children's film, but for any parents out there, maybe like newer parents that have got kids now and think, oh, I'm going to take the kids along to see them, it comes with a little bit of a warning, doesn't it?
Well, it's rated PG. I think you guys have the same system.
Yeah, I mean, Josie sees that as please go. So, we have the...
I think it's, you know, it's parental guidance, but it means, I mean, I think it's family. You should go with your children. And I always, as a mom, when my child was young, and still, I always look at things as an opportunity to have discussions. So, you know, I feel like it pushes the scary right up to the edge. But as I said, it's a heroine story, meaning Dakota Fanning voices Coraline. And Coraline is an adventurous, independent, curious, spunky girl who, yes, pushes the line, but then ultimately saves the day. So that's an inspiring, you know, character for a child to watch.
Well, if you haven't gone out there, go and watch it. It's going to be in theatres on the 15th of August. It's all in 3D. It's very, very special. A lot of years have gone into making this
And it's got a special meaning behind it as well. It's got a good story behind it as well.
It is a really good story.
Warm. It is warm.
And with beautiful performances from everyone.
Teri, you know what I'm going to talk about now.
Oh, I think I do.
Get your apple out, girls. Desperate Housewives. In my opinion,
I feel like I've met the biggest fan.
You have?
Like I say, you know,
here I am.
I think I have. You win the award.
I was in Universal City about 10 years ago. I had meetings out there, and I knew that the Desperate Housewives set was somewhere.
Right.
I got escorted by security out. Honestly,
did you get to go up there?
No, I did not. No, I nearly got arrested.
Oh, yeah,
so
did.
sad.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You've got Jules there, and it's just up from Jules, isn't it?
Just up from Jaws, all right. Oh, local.
Oh, sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
So the local.
Yeah.
So it really does sit at the top of Universal City, like a court at the, a courtyard at the top of the hill, and that does exist. Of course, they use it now for other shows and commercials. But you can, if you take the tram ride, you can still see.
You can still see the set.
That you can discern which house
what
is
which.
Wisteria Lane. And one of the things that was special about being Susan was that Susan's house was one of the only homes that they call it a practical house,
a real house.
Meaning that when you saw Susan in her kitchen or her living room, we were actually filming it up on the street. We weren't on a stage where all the other homes, almost all the other homes, you would be on a stage just in a regular sound studio. So it was quite special. James Denton and Andrea Bowen. And
I know you still see a lot.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to her wedding later this. Can you believe?
Your daughter's all grown up.
I know. I don't know if you have this, but when you meet someone, when I met Andrea, she was 12, 13. It is impossible for me to understand that she's 32 years old now.
Yeah, it's frightening.
And getting married. It's so crazy. But yes, I'm very honored to be one of her guests.
I mean, you just saw I just robbed an apple from our set. Did you rob anything from Desperate Housewives?
I wouldn't call it robbing.
Did you rob anything, Teri Hatcher? It's not a court of law, you can be honest with me.
I did end up with the popsicle Trojan horse from the pilot that Andrea's character is making, and we shove it down the sink in order to fool the plumber. Yes.
I mean, I would have done the same. I would have done the same.
So I think I have that, and I think I actually also ended up with, there was a purple gown, really beautiful purple gown that Susan wore in the limo scene when when Julie's water breaks and Vanessa Williams' character is getting married, and that gown, I somehow ended up with that gown.
What a shame. What a shame.
I think, we would all love to see Desperate Housewives come back. Would you ever bring it back, or even into a film?
Oh gosh, it's just not in my hands. But it's really not in my hands. But I do recognize that would be an amazing thing for the fans. I mean, which is why James Denton and I a couple of times have had the opportunity to do like a Hallmark Christmas movie together or something. And I think both of us felt like because he, spoiler alert, 20 years later was killed.
I'm still not over it.
I feel like we thought that was the best gesture we could have for the fans, was to sort of have...
You two married again elsewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, look, we would love to see it. Yeah. So I've got all my apples crossed that it could happen sometime.
Well, I'm ready to sign as many as you want.
Please do. We've got a line of apples waiting for you, Teri Hatcher. There's something that we share in common, Teri Hatcher. We've both been kicked off Hinge.
Really?
Yes. People thinking we're catfishes.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about this. So obviously, the world of dating, especially when you're someone who people recognise, it can be quite difficult. But you go on the apps, but you got kicked off because someone thought you were a catfish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on apps anymore. I'm not.
You're over it now.
I just feel like that's not going to be how it works for me. But the reason I tried in the first place is because I was sort of saying to the universe, I'm open, and I felt like even if it doesn't work, I'm doing a gesture of vulnerability in order to try this. And so that was kind of my emotional spirit when I went on Hinge. And I don't know if people know this, and I don't know if this is how it happens to you, but when you get kicked off, it's not like you get an email or a phone call or a questionnaire.
Like
you just go on, and you're blocked.
Yeah.
You're like,
so this device can no longer use Hinge.
Yeah,
I was like, sorry, what have I done?
What? Yeah, right, exactly. And so the only recourse I had, there's no customer service, there's nothing.
No.
So at the time, I was still on Twitter, which I'm not anymore, but at the time, I went on Twitter and was like, hey, Hinge, not sure what happened, that you took my money but kicked me off the app. I don't know what I did.
I was fuming. You had to send me passport somewhere to put me back on.
So they got back to me, and then they very graciously were like, of course you can, we thought you weren't,
I still had no luck,
pretending
to
be you or whatever. Yeah, I never did.
Matthew Perry got kicked off.
Yeah, he got kicked off as well.
So he and I kept in touch periodically after I got to work with him on The Odd Couple of years ago, and that was very funny. We would kind of check in like once or twice a year, that kind of text sort of relationship. And when I tweeted, he immediately tweeted me. He said, I got kicked off of Hinge too. What the hell are both of us doing on Hinge anyway? And I thought, you're right. I'm done.
Teri, we absolutely adore you. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
So
we didn't even speak about the New Adventures of Superman, but there's so much we could talk to. Please come back again soon and see us.
I will. Thank you for having me.
It's been such a pleasure. It really,
You've
really
given
has.
us so many iconic roles. Thank you so much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.